Hi, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Bo.
And I'm Ankit.
I'm Mason.
And we'll be discussing the Silver Slipper Cafe with research and input from someone that was actually there.
The two-story apartment was constructed as a cafe originally by the owner Mayola Wright in the 1950s. However, the property was a victim for property value increases soon afterwards the purchase. According to documents obtained from the Birmingham Public Library archives, the property value more than tripled over the course of a decade, from $10,620 in 1968 to $35,400 in 1975.
Cafe catered primarily to men, especially those in business and teaching. They served them sandwiches and beer. It wasn't a traditional cafe, but felt more like a bar. Our guest today told us that this was due to the owner, a woman, believing that other women would cause trouble. The following interview is with Mr. Williams, a longtime resident of Birmingham with fond memories of the cafe.
And this is not at all like a formal questioning or anything like that.
Okay.
Well, I want to keep it sort of like a discussion. Do you remember what your initial memory was of the Silver Slipper Cafe?
Yeah. Now, let me see. Silver Slipper, that was up the street. It was a cafe right next door here. Brown's Cafe. And matter of fact, it was there for years. Where the little beauty shop is now. The lady who ran that, they called her Mayola. She had a little cafe in there. She closed it and moved across where the brick building is, across from that. Mm-hmm. And she had a house right next door. She was there for years. Even when I went into high school, from a little boy to high school, she ran that. This building here was owned by Helen Miles. Like I say, it was a cleaners. And, Helen really owned the whole complex. It was just a barber shop next to it. Except for houses that have been torn down on both sides of the street. Nothing has changed much.
Yeah.
It looks just like it was when I was a boy.
So you were talking over the phone a little bit about the audience Miss Mayola catered to. Who was generally in that cafe most of the time?
School teachers.
Okay.
People getting off work from school, they'd go back and get a sandwich or a beer or something before they went home. That's basically...
It wasn't a traditional cafe. You're saying
No. Somewhere where the guys went after work, school teachers had them a drink and so forth. So that was basically how that operated. It became more of a food place, although she was still serving beer, so when it moved across the street to the larger complex.
And how long do you think the cafe was open? Was it kind of like an all-day sort of thing? Because you said they served beer. I assume they were open until late.
As I remember, Mayola didn't even open up until about 12 o'clock.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I was in elementary school back then. And, I would go up there and get canned sodas.
Mm. And was that the only restaurant at the time in the neighborhood?
In the neighborhood, yes. We had William Stove, which is that vacant parking lot across the street, was there. And then Brown, Miles Brown was his name, ran the cafe next to the barber shop.
But overall, it was a very friendly atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember when you had, I was a small boy. What you call the trolley cars ran up in the middle of that street there. And after that went away, they put what you call it when you put the grass in?
The median?
Yeah. They put dirt down and grass, and that's what you had running in the middle of that street out there.
You mentioned you would walk from school to get sandwiches for people at school.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the place up on, it was called the Canyon Club. It was on the corner of 6th Avenue and 1st Street. And they would fix the lunches and so forth for kids in the daycare down the road, kindergarten where I attended. And 2 or 3 of us would go up there and pick the sandwiches and things up. They put them in a bag and so forth.
So that wasn't the Silver Slipper?
Mm-mm. Silver Slipper actually was the little building up the street here, that little white building. That was the Silver Slipper. The other one was the Canyon Club. Now it was much larger, but that went away. It became mostly a hamburger place and so forth. Okay. And across the street from there was a service station. Right now, I think there's a food place in there now.
Could you talk a little from your experience about how the neighborhood has sort of evolved over the couple of years? Like, how has it sort of transitioned into 2024, where we currently are? Like, a brief history of the neighborhood.
It's completely changed now. See, the houses, most of them are rented now, whereas back then, people owned the home.
Was there any issues in the community that were kind of widespread during those couple of years, like the 50s to the 70s, that this street was particularly affected by?
Oh, yeah. 50s and early 60s, you had the racial turmoil there. And that was evident all around the city. So nothing unique about this area versus because this area was totally black, you know.
Mm. How was that experience for you, Mike? Was it, I mean, you had a very loving community here, but outside of that, in school, did you experience a lot of discrimination or anything like that?
Mm. Because when I was growing up, it was all black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Segregation as a child, was it something you were really aware of or thought of much?
As a child, I wasn't, wasn't aware of anything. Not even in high school, because I went to high school, urban high school, it was totally black.
Were schools integrated yet when you were in high school?
Mm-mm. That's what I say. All of that came after me.
So these kinds of places, like the Silver Slipper and the restaurant across the street, they served as sort of like meeting halls. Like, it was a very open sort of restaurant to eat at for school kids and everything like that. Was that kind of like that? Was it the atmosphere kind of like that?
I don't remember meetings going on in the Catholic. Well, I guess I was too small to even know what was going on back then. But I don't recall any meetings that started. I guess when I got back I went to Vietnam, came back, things started changing then. Mayolas and all of that sort of went away, And another reason for that, because they had taken up that boulevard, and this was almost a thoroughfare. See, back then when I was a child, you didn't have a lot of traffic going up and down 6th Avenue. But when UAB expanded and the hospital expanded, they sort of took all of that away because of the traffic going to UAB and to the hospital.
Do you think, was that like the start, was that for the better or for the worse of the community when UAB came and started all this traffic?
It's a two-way thing because most of those around my age, when they grew up, they left. So it wasn't, it wasn't as populated as it was when I was a child, Yeah, but quite a few people left here. So when I got back from Vietnam, I was surprised at the changes that had occurred.
Was that the changes were mostly because of UAB? Is that why so many people left?
Well, UAB was buying up a lot of the property. I mean, and they was, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So most
Or,
people who, you know, who they sold their houses to UAB, they came out fine. You know, that's when you saw the population in Homewood, their state, all the increasing with blacks. You know, they had the money to go there.
Can you talk a little bit about Miss Mayola's reputation in the community? You know, being a business owner, how did that sort of affect her reputation with people here? But they all just kind of very nice to each other.
Oh, yeah. They accepted Mayola because, like I say, most of Mayola's customers were school teachers. They would go out there after they get off work. But it was, I mean, I really thought a lot of growing up here in this neighborhood, in this area. And it was a time where, as a boy, when I'd be doing something wrong, my neighbor would get on me. And, you know, everybody is close-knit.
When you came back from Vietnam, was Mayola's already closed by then?
She had gone across to where what's over there now?
The clothing shop? Or
Yeah. She had already moved across there.
Did she run the same sort of business there at the clothing shop?
Yeah, it's just larger.
I heard you say that, like, it was mainly, like, men who went into the cafe. Like, did any women ever go in there? No.
I don't remember any women, man. It's basically a man's place. After work. And those who didn't go to Mayola's, they would go downtown.
Just to wrap things up, thank you for meeting with us. What do you think about the current state of this neighborhood? Do you think it's evolved in a positive way from when it was originally, or do you think it's stayed the same throughout the years?
Well, of course, a lot of people moved out of this area. Some moved away, some of them passed away. Yeah, because all of this is zone commercial now. You can't build a house. You can restore one, but, you know, once it became commercial. So it's for business now.
Yeah. For unknown reasons, the cafe closed down in 1964 and went vacant for a while. After a period of 41 years of dormancy, the building was sold by Beatrice Avery, a beneficiary of the owner Mayola, to the current Robert Food Services, sold for $71,000.
The owners, Vanessa Barnes, along with her husband, said the building was a rundown when they originally bought it. They also recounted seeing a disco ball on the ground. They also said that they planned to use that building primarily for storage.
After renovations, they leased the former cafe to a beauty salon and embroidery.